Okay, let's give you guys some more practice. So here, find dy by dx of this. Okay, differentiate this. Find dy by dx. So press pause and have a go. Okay, so to do this here, notice that this here, you've got to use the product rule here. So you've got one block multiplying another one. This one here is quite straightforward. But this one here, you've got to use the product rule. So remember, the product rule is to differentiate this, leave this the same. So when you differentiate it, hang on. So remember, differentiate this, that will then give you this. Leave this the same, that will give you this. And then the second part of the product rule is to keep this the same, which is this thing here, and then differentiate this, which is 1 over x. And then now this bit here is quite straightforward. Just differentiate it, it will give you that. Okay, so from here it will then give you this. Okay, so now it's just a matter of tidying up. That will then give you, tidy up, and it will then give you this. Now get yourself a graph plotter, plot the original graph, and then plot the dy by dx graph, which is this one here, and then it will give you something like this. So the red line here was your original graph, and this here is your derivative. Okay, so check that it makes sense. So looking at the red line here, you can see that it's looking at the red line, it's going downhill. So the gradient should be negative, 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 and then here, yeah, it should be negative, negative up to this point here. Looking at the red line. Well, looking at the red line here, this point here is a turning point. So from here on, it should be so looking at the red line here, the gradient here, which is the lowest point here, should be 0. So look, it should be 0 here on the blue line here. Okay, and then from here on, the gradient should be positive. So looking at the blue line, from here on, it should be in the positive realm. Okay, so it does kind of make sense. Okay, so next question here. Find dy by dx of this. So press pause and have a go. Okay, so here you've got to use a chain rule. So differentiate this. So at the moment you've got this thing to the power of 3. When you differentiate it, it will be 3 this thing squared. But then within here you've got to use a chain rule. So once you've done this, you've got to times it with the differential of the bubble. But when you come to differentiate what's inside the bubble here, you've got to use the product rule here. So, and then within here, you've got to use, there's a bubble stuck inside a bubble, which is inside another bubble, and so on. You've got to use the chain rule here. Okay, so when you differentiate this, the first part is, hang on, let me move this across, wait there. Hang on, bear with me. Yeah. Okay, so when you differentiate this, visualize it like this. At the moment, you've got this thing, so you've got this thing to the power of 3. So when you differentiate this, the 3 goes down here, which is this 3 here, and then the bubble stays intact. The bubble stays intact, and then this 3 here gets minus by 1. That will then give you this. But then you got to use a chain rule now. You've got to times it with the derivative of the bubble itself, which will be this complicated thing here. Okay, so when you differentiate the bubble itself, you've got to use the product rule. So visualize as this here. So the product rule, differentiate this, that will then give you this. Keep this the same, that will then give you this. And then the second part of the product rule is to keep this the same, which is this, and then differentiate this, which will be 1 over 2x. Okay, but then you've got this bubble within a bubble here, so you've got to times it with the differential of this bubble, which is just 2. Okay, so that will then give you this complicated thing here, and then tidy this up. Okay, tidy this up. It will then give you this. Okay, now come to this bit here. Visualize this. Hang on. We've from here we've tidied it up to give us this. Now we've got to look at this. Hang on. Now we've got to look at this bit here. So when you come to look at this bit here, visualize it as this. This 3 here is this 3, and then this thing here gets multiplied by itself. So here you've got one block times this block. So when you square it, it's really this thing here multiply by itself. Okay, so now you can get this times with this. That will and then times with this. That will then give you this thing here. And then now you've got this thing times with this thing. That would be this thing squared. Okay, and then well, do whatever you want. Just tidy it up basically. So now dy by dx will give us this whole thing here. Now get yourself a graph plotter. Plot the original graph. The original graph is this one here. And then the derivative, also plot the derivative, plot this graph as well, and then it should look something like this. So this red line here was our original function here, was our original graph here. This blue line's a derivative, so it kind of makes sense. It's going uphill, but around here it's going uphill. So around here it's positive. The blue line's positive. Okay, but then there's something weird happening in between here. There is something weird happening here because the derivative is moving it's negative down here. Here's negative. Looking at the derivative, the blue line. I don't know if you can see it, but the blue line here is positive. The blue line here is negative. So there's something weird happening around here. You just got to get your graph plotter and zoom into this part to really understand what's going on. Okay. So yeah, so the derivative is this thing here. Okay.